For the first time in this conflict, a U.S. aircraft has been shot down over Iran. Not damaged, not forced to divert, shot down. An F-15E Strike Eagle, one of the most advanced fighter aircraft in the American arsenal, was engaged by Iranian air defenses while operating over southwestern Iran. Both crew members ejected. The Pentagon has confirmed the loss. What they haven't confirmed yet is whether both pilots are alive. This isn't just a setback. It could be the moment this conflict changes forever. Here's what we know. The F-15E Strike Eagle was operating over contested airspace in southwestern Iran. At some point during the mission, Iranian air defense systems acquired the aircraft, tracked it, and fired. The crew ejected. At least one crew member has been recovered. The status of the second remains unclear. On the ground, the Iranian provincial governor immediately announced a $60,000 reward for the capture of any surviving American pilots. Iranian state television began broadcasting instructions to civilians, telling them to search the mountains and, in at least one broadcast, to shoot any Americans on sight. The clock started ticking the moment those pilots hit the ground. Iran's air defense network is not what it was 20 years ago. It is layered, redundant, and specifically designed to engage modern aircraft, including stealth platforms operating at high altitude and high speed. The outer layer consists of long-range surface-to-air missile systems, capable of tracking and engaging targets dozens of miles away. Inside that, mobile medium-range launchers that can reposition between firings. And at the inner ring, short-range systems for point defense. Radar coverage is extensive across the western and southwestern regions of the country, exactly where this aircraft was operating. Under the right conditions, the right geometry, the right electronic environment, the right moment, even advanced aircraft can be tracked and engaged. That appears to be what happened here. The loss of one aircraft might sound like a limited event. It isn't. For years, American air operations in this region have operated under a fundamental assumption that U.S. aircraft could penetrate Iranian airspace with limited risk. That assumption is now directly challenged. Every pilot flying future missions will know that an Iranian SAM battery acquired, tracked, and killed an F-15E. That changes how missions are planned, how low aircraft fly, what electronic countermeasures they carry, and how aggressively they push into defended airspace. Beyond tactics, this is a signal. Iran has now demonstrated a capability that many assumed was either degraded or insufficient. The strategic calculus on both sides just shifted. And there are 2 American pilots somewhere in the mountains of southwestern Iran right now. That makes this personal, and it makes the next few hours critical. The moment the aircraft went down, the Pentagon launched one of the largest search and rescue operations of this conflict. Hundreds of aircraft were put into the sky over Iran, fighters providing top cover, C-130 command aircraft coordinating the effort from above, and HH-60G Pave Hawk rescue helicopters flying low and slow over the mountainous terrain, looking for 2 men hiding in the rocks below. On aircraft carriers in the region, the combat alarm sounded. Marines who had been on standby for exactly this scenario grabbed their rifles, helmets, and packs, and ran to the flight deck where helicopter rotors were already turning. They loaded in, strapped down, lifted off, heading east into Iranian airspace. At the same time, at a military base in Qatar, CH-47 Chinook helicopters loaded with infantry soldiers lifted off the tarmac, ready to be inserted directly onto Iranian soil if needed. Bell AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters swept just above the ridgelines. Thermal cameras scanning every valley, every ravine, every wooded slope where a pilot on foot could hide. Above them all, a C-130 flew a wide orbit, acting as the airborne command post, managing communications, tracking every aircraft, relaying intelligence from satellite feeds and drones overhead, processing every radio ping, every heat signature, every possible sighting. The race was on, and the Iranians were already in the field. The rescue operation wasn't the only response. Near the Iranian border, HIMARS rocket artillery batteries that had been pre-positioned at forward firing points received the order. The launchers were already loaded, coordinates already programmed. When the order came through, they fired. Rockets erupted from the pods in rapid salvos, each one arcing toward Iranian military targets in the region where the F-15E had gone down. Air defense sites, IRGC staging areas, military infrastructure. The strike was fast and concentrated. Within minutes, the HIMARS vehicles displaced from their firing positions and moved to alternate locations to reload. On the carrier flight deck, Fa-18 Super Hornets rolled onto the catapult tracks one after another, launched in rapid succession, climbing hard toward Iranian airspace to provide top cover for the search helicopters below, and to destroy any Iranian aircraft or missile system that threatened the rescue mission. The message being sent was deliberate. Shooting down an American aircraft would be met with an immediate and overwhelming response. Every action now carries a risk of escalation beyond what either side may intend. American strike packages hitting Iranian air defense positions could trigger a broader Iranian response, not just in the air, but on the ground, at sea, and through proxy forces across the region. The Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of global oil supply flows, sits at the center of this conflict geography. Iranian naval forces and the IRGC have a history of using the strait as leverage during periods of tension. Regional actors are watching. Iranian-aligned forces in Iraq, Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria have their own calculus. A sufficiently large American strike could activate responses that expand the conflict beyond Iran's borders entirely, and on the American side, the presence of two pilots on Iranian soil, either alive or captured, creates enormous domestic and political pressure to act, to rescue them, or to retaliate if they cannot be reached. The window for de-escalation is narrowing with every hour. The next phase of this conflict will be defined by decisions made in the coming hours and days. Scenario 1. The pilots are recovered. The HIMARS strikes degrade the air defense network. The U.S. resumes air operations with enhanced electronic warfare support and adjusted mission profiles. The incident is contained, but the precedent remains. Scenario 2. One or both pilots are captured. Iran has a bargaining chip. The pressure on Washington to act escalates dramatically. Options on the table expand beyond air operations. Scenario 3. The rescue mission itself comes under Iranian fire. A helicopter is hit. American casualties mount. The political pressure to respond at a completely different scale becomes overwhelming. Each of these scenarios is live right now. Each one leads somewhere different. What's certain is that the conflict has entered a new phase. The rules of engagement, the risk calculations, the assumptions about who controls the sky, all of it is being rewritten in real time. Here's what this comes down to. An American crew is on the ground in Iran. A search and rescue operation is underway on a scale rarely seen. Iranian forces are hunting for the same men, and a military response is already in motion. The outcome of the next few hours will determine whether this remains a contained, if serious as incident, or whether it becomes the catalyst for something much larger. Air power, defense systems, and the decisions of a handful of commanders on both sides will define what comes next. We'll be tracking every development. If you want clear, data-driven analysis of modern warfare, without the noise, subscribe to Battlefield Brief. Hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss what comes next.